You may have noticed it first through the Super Bowl. HQ Trivia is a massively popular app that started just last year and is turning into a major phenomenon. But how did it get to be that way? A lot of it is through tricks in your brain.
I hadn't heard of HQ Trivia until the Super Bowl, but it does kind of trigger a few very simple mechanisms that make it so addictive.
Well, let me explain how it works first in case people haven't played. So what it is an app, and every day there are 2 scheduled games at noon and 6 p.m., at least in my time zone. And there is a prize, a cash prize at the end for whoever can get through all 12 questions through the end, and a lot of people play. Let's say 1 million people will play per game, or if it was the Super Bowl, much more than that. And in this, you can actually win the money and cash out as long as you have more than $20 in your balance. And it is hosted by possibly the most insufferable person I've ever seen in my life, but you may love him. I mean, I'm sure people have said that about this show too, so I'll give him a break. So it's a large pool of winners, actually.
Yeah, and I saw videos online. People are crying and getting, really
over
invested.
$10.
For $10. Yeah, the cash prize being eventually $10, which is
very.
Yeah. So they're going kind of crazy, and it's that same kind of similar attribute that gambling has, of course, and you have it by randomizing rewards, which always happens. But then some of the cognitive biases that happen are very interesting. Carol Tavris has this really great book called "Mistakes Were Made But Not by Me," which kind of, discusses a little bit of this fundamental attribution error principle, which is that if you have somebody making a mistake or doing something bad, basically you think they are bad people. But if you do it, you just think it's circumstantial. Oh, I just made a mistake.
So like they're stupid, but I just didn't read it right because the cat made a noise.
Exactly. But if someone cuts you off in traffic, the example that was used is you think they're a jerk. But if you cut someone off in traffic, you're doing it because you're late because you're running to the airport because you have to drive your best friend.
You had a good reason.
Exactly.
And no one else did.
No one else does. And it's this cognitive bias and this cognitive dissonance, which is a very fundamental problem in this. We automatically assume, oh, if we make a mistake, it's just because I didn't understand the question right. I didn't get it right. But all these other people, they're dumber than me.
It shows you how many people dropped off on each question. So let's say 100,000 people got it wrong and you got it right. Your thought is, I'm smarter than 100,000 people.
Exactly. So it's an ego reward system that is immediately gratifying. And then you have this Dunning-Kruger effect, which is really exciting.
Which seems to work in the lottery too.
It does, and it just basically means that if you are a person of low ability, you cannot recognize this limitation within yourself, but you can in somebody else. And this effect, actually, if you go back to how it started and how it was studied, these researchers studied a real criminal case from a robber. His name was MacArthur Wheeler, who misinterpreted what invisible ink does. And so he took lemon juice and put it all over his face.
What?
And went to rob banks thinking that the cameras wouldn't be able to film his face because of the invisible ink, because of the lemon juice on his face. So I found it pretty funny. But it's one of those things where it's like, if you are ignorant on a certain thing or premise or topic or whatever, you don't know your own ignorance. So you kind of just go with it and you're very confident, and that's what happens here. And then there's also, of course, the infamous FOMO. Everyone is playing the game. You want to come in, you want to be a part of the movement.
And it has this lobby, and it's like all these people are saying really racist things in the lobby, but they're all there.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, I turned that off the first, well, I've only played once.
Okay, I haven't played it, so I'll have to give it a shot.
I don't know if I'll be back, to be honest. I don't really care, and it takes up a lot of time for me. Andrew loves it. He's the producer and he's offset. Yeah, and then there's also the idea that the money is kind of a psychological trick, because you think like, oh, I'm doing something overall that's good. I'm earning money, which is what I should be doing. And it's just, you're not really earning that much. And a lot of people actually don't cash out because they never reach that $20 mark.
Yeah.
Because they're winning games where their net gain is $5.
Yeah.
You know?
Are they investing money at all, or is it's free, right? It's free to play it.
It is backed by Peter Thiel, which I don't like.
Yeah.
It's a big reason why I haven't really gotten into it.
There was a big boycott and delete HQ movement when people found out that he was one of the funding sources for HQ Trivia.
I mean, he has, to be fair, funded a lot of big tech mainstays, including Facebook, including
PayPal.
Airbnb.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't understand where the line is, but I also don't need HQ to get through my life. So.
Yeah. I mean, the reward thing is, if you break it down to how many hours you're playing and how much money you actually make, say you're making $10 in a week and you're playing for, 20 hours. Like, I don't feel like that the numbers really quite add up for you to justify that you're making money.
I am with you on that, but maybe we are alone in this because it is a wildly popular app still. Audience, do you play HQ, and how does it make you feel? Please let us know on Facebook and Twitter.